I'm Christy Torres. You're the baby Christies. Now let's get into the video. Hey baby Christies, thanks for tuning back to another video. Girl, you need to stay tuned for this one. This one is spicy. So with that being said, grab your blankets, grab your tea, because it's going to be about 15 minutes of me talking about this story time. Have your refreshments. I know I need mine for the simple fact I need to help myself from not throwing up. So, excuse the lighting. You know, the sun decided to beam through my window today. Excuse the hair. Excuse everything. But, you know, I have to make this video. One, because I didn't upload this week. And two, this is just something I need to hear. Alright, so let me start off first like this. You guys already saw the title. You guys already know what this is about. So, let's start off this way. If you guys have a friend and, you know, someone that you called your best friend, don't ever date them. Ever in your life. Like, I'm not even joking. Don't ever date them. You like this vibe I'm giving y'all? I'm giving y'all a young M.A. Alright, let me stop. Okay, don't ever date your best friend. That's first off. Don't ever date your best friend. It's gonna be a horrible ending. I'm letting you know that now. So, basically, I was in middle school and I was in about 6th grade. And I had a really close friend. You guys already heard a video about her. Her name is Deanna. And if you haven't heard it, make sure you go back to my previous videos and click on story time when I saved my best friend's life. So, I had a main best friend, Deanna. Me and her were close, like really close. We're still close to this day. And there was this new kid named, I'm gonna call him Alfonso. Anyways, there was a new kid named Alfonso. And everyone always made fun of him and did mean things and stuff like that. So, we decided to be mature. Because we weren't adults yet, we were in 6th grade. We decided to be mature, sit next to him and become his friend. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, we were best friends. Like, we didn't care what other people thought. We sat there, we were his friend, basically. While everybody else made fun of him, we sat there and comforted him, and we still talked to him and chilled with him. If it wasn't for us talking to him, everyone else would have never talked to him. Honestly, at all. Nobody would have talked to him. But we were the first ones. We went over there, you know, we started talking. We're like, hey, our names is Christina and Deanna. Like, don't let anybody, you know, we were giving him that talk, that first day talk. So we were all just, we became close, like close. We always went over each other's house. We always had parties together. Like, where there was Deanna, there was me and him. Where there was me, there was Deanna and him. And then where there's him, is me and Deanna. You feel me? Like, we were close. We went places together. We did everything together. Like, during the summer, when my best friend moved to Florida, she came down and we stayed with them. You feel me? Like, we were with them. But, long story short, don't date your best friend, because he ended up asking me out on New Year's Eve, like 5 seconds before the ball dropped. And I felt pressured. Like, I really would have rather just stayed his friend, honestly. But I felt pressured because he did it in front of his family, and I didn't like that. And plus, he was dating somebody, and he basically tried to play her for me. All that. So, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not going to put him down in front of his family. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not that type of person. So, I was like, yeah, of course I'll date you. Knowing damn well I didn't want to. So, we ended up dating. And I think at this point, I was already living with him. Because of, well, we were friends when I started living with him. Because of family issues. So, I was just staying over his house. And then I eventually moved in. I love the family, honestly. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, we all had fun together. But then after living there for a couple months, because I don't think it was like a whole year, it was like a couple months. After living there for a couple of months, shit hit the air, and people just showed their true colors, you feel me? Like, being their friend and coming over every now and then, I thought they were amazing, you know, like the family, the mom, dad, the brothers. I thought they were cool, you know? And then after being there for a couple of months, you realize how fake they are, and how the adults were like kids. Literally like kids. Like, they were basically kids. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, everything with them was petty. You had to do this or else they called the cops. Like, they were petty. That petty. And it wasn't even like, okay, so me, you know, I'm living in their house. I have respect for them, of course. So it's like, if I argued back with them, I'm gonna look like the bad person, you feel me? So I never argued back with their parents. If they ever had a problem, I'll be like, okay, and I'll change it, you feel me? I keep saying you feel me, but if they had a problem with me, I'll sit there and I'll change it and I'll do better, and like, I'll fix the problem. And they'll be like, oh, you never talk to us, da 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 da. I'm not gonna talk to you to argue with you. You're adults. I'm not gonna disrespect you. You must want me to disrespect you, because I'm not gonna disrespect you. If I talk to you, I'm gonna come out reckless. So you should be thanking me that I'm not doing that and I'm not being disrespectful. But yeah, me and him ended up having like a good rough start in our relationship. We dated for about a year. But it was because like, I would have broke up with him earlier, but it was like I felt trapped, because like, I lived with them now. I can't just be like, oh, you know, I don't want to be with you, and then still live in that house, because then everything would change. So I stayed with him. We celebrated all these holidays together. It was New Year's, Christmas. We celebrated everything together, basically. And by this time, I was already kicked out of high school, because we started dating sophomore year. And by that time, I was already kicked out of high school, basically a dropout. So they helped me get back into school. And the school I went to was West Haven High. So I appreciate that. They helped me get back into school. And basically, I guess he had this little girl he flirted with in school while we were still dating. And she always wanted to fight me. And every time, like, I swear to God, my first day, I already walked up on her. Like, all I had to know was what she looked like. And once I saw her, I was like, what's your problem? Like, you got an issue? Like, you want to fight? Like, I got kicked out of high school for fighting. So I went into high school, first day in high school in West Haven High, ready to fight already, over a guy, over somebody I did not care about. But it's not that I wanted to fight over him. I wanted to fight for my respect. You're not gonna have my name in your mouth for no reason, you know? Like, you don't know me, I don't know you. There's no reason for you to talk about me. Yeah, I understand I'm dating the guy that you talk to, but come on, you serious? But anyways, like, me and her had beef for like a couple months, and that's about it. So we were dating. Like, I would always find stuff on his phone. I don't know, it's the worst thing to date a best friend, because they obviously don't care about you, and it's just bad, you know? I'm just telling you guys from experience, do not date a best friend. It's just, no. So the months go on, we're still dating, we're doing stuff couples do, you know, all that shenanigans. And I decided to clean Alfonso's room. And mind you, once I cleaned this room, the same day it's as messy as it was. And I literally, like, me and him shared a room, and I always gave up cleaning that room, because I will clean it and then he'll invite like 6 of his friends over, and it'll be the same thing. Like, it's like they just open the trash bags and just throw everything back on the floor. Mind you, it'll take me and my other best friend Oxy days to clean that room. It'll take us hours. It'll take us like 4 hours to clean that room, and it's not a big room, not a big room at all. But so this one day I decided to clean, and I finished cleaning the room. The bed was made, everything was done, and I looked at the fan, and the fan looked dusty. And I was like, let me clean the fan, you know, because I can't sleep without a fan. And if the fan's like really dusty, I'm not really getting that much air. And if I'm getting air, it's full of dust. So I went to the kitchen to grab the wipes. It was like some Purex wipes or whatever it is. So I decided to go grab the wipes. And when I grabbed it, I shook it and it sounded like there was stuff in there. And I was like, okay. So when I go, I start unscrewing the fan. And when I go to open the wipes, there's no wipes. But there's a letter in it. And it's like he tried to hide this letter from me. But me being the person that I am, trying to clean and help him out, I found the letter in the wipes. It was like the bottle that you pull out the wipes from. It was that. So I'm looking, I'm like, why is there paper in here? So before I throw the whole thing away, because there's obviously no wipes in there, I open the letter to see if it's important. If it's the mother's or the father's, they probably forgot it or whatever. So I open it up and it's like, I'm gonna call her Samantha. It's like, oh, dear Samantha, you know I love you with all my heart. I'm sorry we can't sneak around anymore because she goes to the same school as us. Sorry, I'm about to throw up. And we can't be sneaking around because she goes to the same school with us. Mind you, they were hooking up. They were doing the do. And, you know, I don't respect that at all. Like, you basically did me shiesty. And mind you, he wasn't shit until me and Deanna came around. Like, we made him who he is. I'm not trying to be cocky or nothing, but like, nobody would talk to him if it wasn't for us. In high school, he was a nobody. In West Haven High, he was a nobody. Until I came around and I started making friends, and then everyone came up to him. You feel me? Like, I felt so betrayed. So basically, that happened. He was like, oh, we can't sneak around anymore. I still love you. Da 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 da. Like, telling her he still loves her and he still cares for her and that he'll do anything, and that she could just text him and he'll go. So it's like, he always was lying to me. Like, he'll be like, oh, I'll go to my friend's house, and he's basically with her. You feel me? Like, but I didn't care because I was entertained by my best friend, Oxy. I was entertained. Like, he could go be with his friends as long as I was with her. I was always having a fun time. But yeah, I decided by that time, most of the holidays passed. Like, what was it? Valentine's Day had passed. It was like a couple days. A couple days after Valentine's Day that I found this letter. So everything I got him for Valentine's Day, everything he got me for Valentine's Day, for Christmas, for New Year's, for all those holidays in between, I laid it out on the bed. And then I kept the letter in my pocket and I was like, hey, Alfonso, come here. And I was like, oh, what does this mean to you? You feel me? Like, what does this mean to you? He goes, oh, this means everything, and how long we've been in a relationship and how much we care about each other, and we share these different items and all that bullshit. So I had a mirror on the bed as well. I had a mirror and I laid it down and I was like, pick up the mirror. So he picks it up and I'm gonna reenact how he did it. He picks it up like this and I'm like, what do you see? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, what do you see when you look in the mirror? And he's like, I see myself. And I was like, you want to know what I see? I see a liar. I see a deceiver. I see somebody who's using another person. Like, I went off. I was going off on him. He was like, why are you saying all this? And I opened the letter and I was like, like, I was like, let me just clear my throat. And then I was like, oh, dear Samantha, reading the whole letter and what he said, and he started crying. And I'm like, oh, and I invited his mom into the room to know what was happening, so he can't lie to his mom. So I invited her into the room and she's listening to the whole thing. And I read the letter. I'm like, okay, this is me. This is me with the letter. Dear Samantha. And I'm reading it and I'm reading it and I'm reading it. And his mom's face is shook. She is shook. So I'm like, oh, yeah, like I wouldn't find it, you know? Like, I didn't clean the room. I don't always clean the room. Like, I wouldn't find it. You put it in a really, really nice spot. God told me. Like, God put this in my path for me to find because you were doing me shiesty. So I was like, you know what, I'm done. Like I don't want to be with you. That was my like my go-to thing to get out. So I was like, I don't want to be with you. You're playing me. Da 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 da. But when people cry, I have like a soft part in my heart. So he was crying, bawling his eyes out on his knees. Please don't, please no. But at first, before he started crying, he was like, oh, I never wrote that. I don't know who wrote that. Boy, it says Love Alfonso. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? My face is always red. Okay, sorry. But I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm so tired of you. And that's when he started crying. And he got his knees or whatever. And I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm done with you. But he started crying and all that. And I had this soft spot in my heart. And I was like, I can't do that, you know? It was just a letter. Even though he was doing it, actually, I'm going to just leave it alone and, you know, move past it. Which is something I regret again. Something I regret again. So after that, stuff went on, and yet he was still doing the same thing. Moral of the story: do not date your best friend. They actually don't care about you. You guys are better off best friends, because in the end he's gonna hurt you and you're gonna lose somebody you actually cared about as a friend, not in a relationship. But that's really it for my story time, and that's where I'm gonna leave it. We ended up breaking up, and I was the happiest person alive. So yeah, moral of the story: do not date your best friend. Stay as best friends for the simple fact that you're gonna lose somebody you actually had a friendship with. Not that you cared for the relationship, but the friendship. But that's it. That's it for my video. You guys know what to do. If you don't already, like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing and liking is more than enough. Just subscribing or just watching, honestly. Just watching is good enough. Let me know what you guys want to hear next. Don't forget to add me on Snapchat, Christina0416. It'll be in the description. My Facebook will be in the description, and my Instagram would be in the description. I have a Twitter, but you know, I don't really mess with it. I don't have any friends on Twitter. Everybody's on Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram anyways. But everything like that will be in the description. Hope you guys enjoyed this story time. And if you haven't seen my videos already, my previous videos, just go click back on them. There's something you would laugh at. You would have a good laugh at. Yeah. And click the subscription bar and the notification bell so you get notified every time I post. Because like I said, sometimes I don't post for a while, but then I post, and I just want you guys to get notified whenever I post, so you guys can be first to see it. And thanks for clicking on another video. Thanks for giving me about 18 minutes of your time. Love you guys. Love you, baby Christies. And I'm out.